Steve Van Sampson,
Curtis M. Lawson,
Paul Christian Glenn, Joshua Rex, Raz, Rob Smale. Hey everybody, thank Cthulhu, it's Sunday. Welcome to another episode of The Clutch of Personalities. This week we are going to be getting into the head of Andre Sanders. No relation, we just happen to have the same last name. He is a horror writer who has recently gotten more into romantic thrillers, coming at us from Virginia. Andre, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, doing good. Got the cat. And I have my squirrel. This is Ratatosker. He joins us for all the shows. And tonight he gets Maker's Mark because he gets to celebrate. He's been good all week. So
also gets a treat.
Yeah, he gets to be drunk squirrel again.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a thing. So right now we're hopping in here. If you guys have seen the intro, he has written a number of different horror stories. And this is where I got started. I dove in initially to his horror, and then I've moved up and read his latest book, which is what you guys can be winning by the end of the show. Objection, which is an erotic thriller or romantic thriller.
Yeah.
More romance than But I have initially hopped in, like I said, to read your stuff with Crimson Greetings, and that one was if you guys are interested in reading his stuff, his initial horror is pretty darn brutal, but there are the moments of brutality, and then it's a really well written, they're all really well written stories though too. And I really enjoy that about your writing. Was it hard when you were initially doing stuff? And I know we're moving up to the other one, but just for the first couple books and stuff that you wrote, is it hard to get in that mind frame to write the seriously hardcore stuff?
With Crimson Greetings, it was because I had to get into that mindset of a man that was falsely accused of the crime. So then trying to get that mentality, that was pretty difficult.
Yeah, and I loved how that all took place over one Christmas, and yeah. It's a great book, guys. A little violent, but we're horror here, so you got to expect some of that. A lot of recent stuff has been more along the lines of kind of monsters and things like that, and you make human monsters, which is great. And we get to see inside the heads of all of them as well, so we know where this motivation is coming from. And I think that's something you grasped at really well.
Yeah, I think humans as monsters, I like that best because it's more believable than, say, vampires and werewolves.
Yeah.
Because I've been fascinated with serial killers. So I grew up reading about serial killers. So then that's where I got the whole thing of, making your humans the monsters.
Oh yeah, I got a shelf full up there. So this is horrible to say, but who's your favorite?
Well, my favorite serial killer?
Sure.
Gosh. Well, probably H.H. Holmes.
Oh, good one.
Mansion and the way he built it. So it's not like, he actually killed with his bare hands. He built the tools to do it for him.
Yeah.
Kind of like Saul.
Pardon?
Kind of like Saul, how Jigsaw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all comes together in a way.
Yeah, and the way he built that and had so many different crews coming in and out so that nobody knew what led to anywhere was just crazy. I'm a Ripper girl myself because they never discovered who he was.
Yeah.
Or she, possibly. But Holmes is way up there for me too. Because, everything you're saying. And the way he got away with everything.
Yeah.
He was just brilliant. It's horrible to say, but he was. So when you switched over and started writing the romantic thrillers, what got you wanting to do that?
I honestly do not know. It was I don't know, my imagination just kind of did this flip. And then before Objection, I had wrote Her Only Fan.
Okay.
which like Amazon and Books a Million and Barnes and Noble labeled it erotic horror. And in my head, it was an erotic thriller because it was totally toned down.
Right.
And then it was like I finished that, and then it was like, well, I want to go softer, you know? And then I created Objection, and then the whole time writing it, I was in love with it.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then now I'm going even milder, doing a drama. So it's
Ooh.
crazy.
And where did you get the characters from? Are you the person that uh, when do your characters take over your writing, or do you force your characters to do what you want them to do?
No, the characters pretty much tell the story. Like I'll get the idea, I'll come up with the title first, and then I'll get the characters in my head, and then I just like as I go, like there's the story. Like I don't plan it all in advance. It just comes to me as I go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, I always get stuck. Like my characters will start yelling at me, and they're like, "No, we're not going to do this. We're going to
Yeah.
do this. That's what we want to do." So you have to change the entire story now.
Well, I have had that whole thing of like I've had a vision for like a couple of them,
God
but
damn it.
then it's like no, we're doing our own thing, and I'm just like okay, let's go.
Something else that I saw that you were posting on, we'll go back again to Objection shortly. I just saw a lot of your social media that you've been posting. You're experimenting with how you're going to work on self promotion and advertising.
Yeah.
And you seem to have found a lot of new stuff to do there.
Oh yeah. Like the
Things.
whole like the book talkers, that's a world of its own. And then that was like today, I just messaged one, asked her if she'd be interested in reading Objection. And, she was like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'd love to. So then after that, she had sent me her email address to send it to her.
Mhm.
So I sent it. She said she's going to tell her friends. And I'm like, all right, maybe we're onto something here.
Yeah, getting it out, that's something that is really difficult to do, getting all of the promotions handled. I personally never have tried to do something on my own yet.
Yeah.
I've been part of promotion campaigns for things, and it takes a lot of your time and dedication to get through doing everything.
Oh,
So,
I'm learning that because this is the first time I did it. Like, I always just posted on Facebook groups and pages. Like, when I'd have something come out, I'd post it, and that was it. Like, I never went outside of Facebook. So now that I'm doing that, I'm finding out like there's a entirely different world out there for promoting.
yeah, we trying to just promote stuff like the network. We have our Gal Friday, so we kind of luck out. We have a gal who just goes ahead and promotes everything for us.
Yeah,
Jenny, she's part of the show too, and I couldn't keep up though if it was required of me. But when I've done promotions before, it's always been on a, sit down and they give me exactly what to post, and I just post it at the right times
yeah,
and stuff. But you're branching out and doing the self publishing. That's really awesome. All the different things that you're finding.
yeah,
Because and I need to point out just because I keep seeing it. Everybody, he's got the best plant holder in the world right over his shoulder.
yeah,
The little Jason skull. Love that. Um, but yeah, so Objection is I like the story. You have so many different counterplots weaving into each other and lies upon lies upon lies.
yeah,
And the characters range from some very horrible people and I think the only really completely sympathetic character in the book is Sierra, the little girl,
yeah,
and the maid. She too
yeah.
was she was a very nice character, but everybody else has a lot of really dark motivations
Which is
as
kind of
their
like how people are in real life. So I try to put as much of real life, like how people are in real life, into my characters because
Mhm.
it's a reflection of how people really are, and that's what like really keeps me going in writing. Because I'm a people watcher. Like I watch people like crazy. And then I guess that just, goes into my imagination and it just sticks there.
See who's doing what and
Yeah. Because I'm a
I
very quiet person. Yeah.
which makes it fun to interview. But yeah, without giving too much away, guys, this book is it's a great thriller. You get a lot of mystery kind of elements going on initially. People doing different stuff, and everybody's expecting different. Everybody's been given a different kind of story as to what's supposed to be going on, and you have a lot of piecing things together as to what is actually going on. And this, I've noticed that with this one and with Crimson Greetings, they both have to do with kind of corrupt law enforcement type of procedures going on. In Crimson Greetings, it wasn't maybe so much corrupt as naive and trying to make a name for himself and just not caring. But here you have lawyers and judges and criminals and stuff all working to try to, I don't want to give away the story too much, but all working together, but basically all lying to each other. And everybody's trying to take advantage of the next person.
Exactly.
And so how much did you go into researching all the different ways that, like, I don't want to, I'm sorry, I'm being a terrible interviewer right now, but like the different motivations behind each person and what they're technically capable of doing and how far they could push things. Did you do a lot of research into that, or just as far as like legally how they could have done stuff, or illegally in this case, I
No,
guess?
I just winged it. Like I went with it. Like the story was flowing, like everything. Like although it was different, each character had a different motive. They all still linked together. So that's how I was able to just keep the flow.
And you really flesh out your characters. You show their home lives and stuff outside of just what's going on in the story, so that we don't just have, oh, this guy's just kind of a creep. It's like,
Yeah.
oh no, he actually does this as well. You know, this is how he interacts with the people in his life.
Yeah, I think
So
this one and Crimson Greetings are probably my best two. And I
they're
was thinking that while I was writing Objection. I was like, this is right up there with Crimson, like my first book. So I was comparing them both while I was writing it.
yeah, they are very comparative, especially outside of the others that were more. There was a lot of body horror in it's that exact body horror, a lot of gruesomeness in like Hen House, but once again, you were able to wrap it into the story, and that was something that with Crimson Greetings, I was just like, wow. And this one isn't nearly as violent, but it still has a lot of. Uh, it does have some violence, but not like in the extreme sort of way at all. It's a normal, safe level for people. I don't think it's going to be any sort of trigger warning type of stuff set off.
Yeah.
Is that something you've had to worry about with some of the other ones? Do you get any people that are like, whoa?
Well,
Or
yeah, because when I did, because the stories that make up chapters of Catastrophe, they are actually also standalones on Amazon.
Mhm.
So there's been like I'm friends with she's a romance writer, and so I read her first novel in exchange for her to read Hen House.
Okay.
She never read horror, you know.
Mhm.
Well, she read it, and then she was like, "Yeah, I wish I would have known because she had experiences herself. So
Okay.
with that, and then going into that story, which the thing is with that story is I had experiences myself, so that's what motivated that story, and it was so violent because that was my way of kind of like I guess therapy.
Gotcha.
Because after I wrote that, like it all went away. So I thought that was pretty
Nice.
neat.
Yeah, writing out your stuff is a great way to come to terms with things in your life,
Yeah,
and to just kind of live vicariously through the characters, to just exercise everything that's
yeah,
weighing you down. Um, yeah, that was definitely obvious in Hen House that there was some pent up aggression there, maybe.
Yeah, people read that and they were like people I work with, and they were like, I don't even think I can be in the same room with you, like alone. And I was like, just a story.
Have you ever had any creepy fans like get in touch with you about?
I
I
have.
know some.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a few
And
of those, and then it's like I would talk to them, but then after it hit that certain point, I had to just quit. I was like, yeah, I can't do this.
like this was just a story, man.
Yeah. Like I'll have people tell me like their darkest fantasies of like what they really want to do. And I'm like, this is not even legal. Like I shouldn't even be hearing this. Like, and then I just have to cut the conversation.
Wow.
There's a lot, I guess, like when you're a horror writer, you know, you're going to get some people that come to you that I guess, you know, think that stuff in real life and it's logical to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just creating for entertainment. And then you got people that like take it literal. And then, yeah.
And then it goes crazy.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. And then have you had anybody with objection? That's more. I do really enjoy that one. Oh, there was something I was going to also bring up in Crimson Greetings.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm an editor on the side,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize initially that you were writing dialectically.
Yeah.
And I was just like, they was no, I can't see that. And then I was like, oh, okay, this is actually how it's being spoken.
Yeah.
And because that's I had to like talk to my to our Jenny, and I was just like, is this how people talk there? She's like, yes, yes,
Yes,
it
that
is.
is how
And,
people talk here.
and I was like,
I think that was
okay.
the Elliot character. Like I made him the most backwoods countrified character in the book. So yeah.
Yeah. So if you read that, no, it's not mistakes. It is actually, oh, there's our girl Friday. Hi.
Yeah. There are people here that
It,
talk like that.
she's the one who told me. I was just like,
Yeah.
this is. I know he knows how to write because I can read it here, but like it's
Yeah.
okay. I forget that sometimes there's the difference between like where the author's voice cuts off and the characters' voices jump in.
Yeah.
We do talk that way.
So I guess she's from around my area.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah.
Jenny, I can't remember exactly where you're from. You're in, is it Christiansburg?
Christiansburg, yeah.
Christiansburg, Virginia. Yeah. And I've never been down there before. I recently got to go out to the East Coast, but it was the New England area.
Oh yeah.
So sometime I'm gonna have to go to. I'm kind of scared though. But go in the Appalachians, there seem to be big areas of just desolateness that you could get lost in.
Yeah, there's a lot of national forest. Yeah.
So just don't go wandering off and be okay to
No,
survive down there.
you'll be good in the towns. Like everybody's nice to each other. Like everyone's friendly. I mean, it's not like Wrong Turn.
So something like Nebraska, we welcome everybody and love them all dearly. And
Yeah.
then they ask us why we live in Nebraska, and we're like, somebody has to.
Yeah.
um. I'm looking through everything. So I didn't get to read Taker, but do you want to fill us in a little bit about what that was about? You said that was kind of your step between going from the full gore into more of you're backing off a little bit.
Yeah. Taker was actually a supernatural horror
Oh,
that took place in a funeral parlor in the embalming room. And it was adapted into screenplay.
oh really?
Yeah, and copyrighted. It's just it hasn't been made into a movie yet, so it's just been sitting in a pile. But yeah, a lot of
Nice.
people liked that one.
I'll have to check that one out too. I was just kind of going through the list and grabbing as many as I could. And
Yeah, because I wrote it like a week after I finished Crimson Greetings. I started it, and then I wrote it in like 2 months.
You've got a great writing ability. I'm always stuck. Jenny lives in Saudi. That's all right.
Tennessee. Yeah. Yeah, she's around the area. I'm glad.
We'll have to check that one out, and we'll cover it all within the group and stuff. But I'm sorry, I'm hung up on stuff. You don't talk very much.
I do have a question about Objection.
Okay.
So, with the two main characters, my male and female.
Shay and Casper?
Yes. So, to me, I seen it as a slow build-up. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's what I was aiming for. Like, I didn't want anything too quick, too soon.
Yeah, you could. The kind of traumatic stuff, bringing them together, allows for it to go a bit quicker as you set it over just a couple of days.
Yeah.
But it wasn't one of those suddenly just like, it wasn't like they jumped together far too quick. They had to build the level of trust that they had going on. And I think you gave them adequate time to get to know each other and decide whether or not it was something they wanted to do. And the reveal was kind of really neat too towards the end.
Oh yeah, the flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to throw that in there. I was like, that was a curveball. Like, I got toward the end and then that popped in my head, and I was like, because I was going to stick with the original, like what was throughout the story. I was going to stick with that. And then I was like, well, I could throw a twist in there, you know? So that's what I went with.
And you guys are going to love it. The little twist makes you go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know? But I haven't often done romance or anything on here. And this isn't, though he does have the other stuff as erotica, this has a little bit of sex in it. But it's not full core, you know, like porn feeling or anything like that. And it ties in with the tale well. It's not gratuitous. So I like that about it, because there's too many things that I've read where it's just like, oh, ta-da, we're just going to use this as an excuse to just write sex and basically put out kind of porn. And
it was my first attempt at any kind of like, you know, romantic storyline. But like with the whole romantic element, like it's not like a romance novel.
Yeah.
Because I have all of those thriller elements. And I think there's more thriller to it than it is romance, because it's romance between the two characters. And everything else is just like, you know, deceit and all that stuff. So
yeah, the thriller element definitely wins out on this one, but the bringing together of the two characters, and I think that, and it sounds kind of weird because she's not in a whole lot of it, but she's the main cause behind it. The little girl Sierra does really tie everything together.
Yeah,
she gets to meet. She meets every character,
all the characters,
with the exception of the judge. She probably knows him.
Yeah,
you know, through the working things, but you get to see her kind of like how she feels and trust the kids' judgment. The kids know what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And I liked how you worked that all around with it. Because I got, after reading the other stuff, I was like, oh no, the poor kid. There's a kid here. Oh, okay. Everything's okay.
Yeah, that was the thing with writing that, like, where I'm used to writing the extreme violent stuff and then trying to get away from it. It's like I did have to pull back some, because that was like, well, I'm not going to give the scene away, but you know, like the violent scenes, I'll say, like it's like I went so far, and then it was like I had to pull myself back. Like, you know, with extreme horror, the point is to throw out everything you see in your head, and with this, I was like, less is more. So then I had to, you know, stick with that. Like, don't say too much.
Yeah, it really was effective too. I'm glad that I read the others before this, so that I could have the comparison of where you came from to what you're doing now. And very different writing.
Yeah.
Very, very different. Your voice has progressed as you've been going on. Um, you have an interesting way of phrasing things that I like, where instead of just being, your descriptions are almost a backwards way of saying what's going on. Like, instead of like, she felt she was ready to die, it would be like, she felt as though she could be released from these mortal coils without objecting. You have, I
Yeah.
really enjoy that. And is that something that you work on, or is that just how you think and how you write? Is it just
That's
how
how
it
I think and
becomes?
write.
Okay.
Yeah. Like sometimes I confuse myself. Like I'll get stuff and I'm writing and then I got to reread it because it's just like it's just coming out. Like, yeah, it's like automatic, pretty much like automatic writing.
Yeah, you have a bunch of $10 words, which is great, and that's what had confused me in the uh, Crimson Greetings, because that's where I was like, he's got all these big words, and he says they was. Oh, it's kept. That just played with me so much until I got it, and then it was like, oh my god, this is so okay, exact. And sorry if I'm a little
I think I can easily
disjointed and stuff.
like they can easily lose track and maybe go back and reread.
Yeah. There are a couple sections to kind of look over and be like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
But it's not that it's poorly written. It's just that it's written in a very different fashion than I see a lot of authors write in.
Yeah.
It's not absolutely linear. So how's the reception been so far? I know it's kind of just out there, but you've been working on doing some different advertising for it.
Yeah, I haven't actually heard of anyone that's read it yet. And I haven't advertised it, promoted it on Facebook yet, any of the pages, because I'm doing all of the outside, reaching everybody on the outside to do it. And I do have a guy that's currently reading it for audiobook.
Oh, nice.
And he had to do like the first 15 minutes and I had to prove it. So he had read that and he had wrote me and he had already read through the story itself. And he was like, I love this. Like he can't wait to get it all in audio. And then I heard the first 15 minutes and he's also narrated for cartoons. So
cool.
To hear him talk and the way he does the phone conversations, like he'll muffle the microphone and make it sound like they're on the phone. Yeah, he does good.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I can't wait to hear it on audiobook.
Are you going to put that on Audible then as
well?
Yeah,
it's going to be on Audible, yeah. Audible, Apple Books, and Amazon.
Okay. Yeah. And are you going to have any others read by the same guy since you got it started, or?
Yeah, maybe the one I'm working on now once I get it finished. I'm going to talk to him and see if he'd be interested in it.
So what you working on now?
Kind of like a dramatic suspense. It's a woman who had just lost her mother a few weeks prior to ovarian cancer. And so her and her husband and two little kids move into the farmhouse. Okay. But then, like, I'm not going to say what happens, but something happens and then they separate. And he takes the two little girls. Okay. So being the mother, she's fighting to get her kids back, but also kind of like flashing back to the demons in the house, which are her memories of how her father was to her mother and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of like going back and it's going to get crazy. But it's not going to have like, it's not even, well, yeah, it's going to have maybe one killing scene. That's about it.
Okay. New drama sounds good. Whose books are rereadable in great story and in picking up new ways to see things around you. Yes.
Thanks.
And it makes me think of people very differently too, because like we were saying, you really get into your characters and really make sure to show how they are outside of just the situations that a lot of people would gloss over and just be like, oh, we're just going to let this guy be, he's violent and that's all we know about him. He's willing to take up and do this thing, but it's like, oh no, we get to see the whole story behind him and who he interacts with and why he does this, because this person feels powerful for doing these things, and this person feels vindicted, and
Yeah, that's kind of like with
everybody's
Crimson Greetings, what the whole concept for it was. Like, yeah, being accused, for what he was accused of, which you read in the papers every day.
yeah.
And then I was like, well, what if you have a situation where he didn't? What's that going to do to a guy? And then I just
Oh,
knows the story.
and all of the flashbacks for that poor guy and
Yeah,
everything that happened to him, that yeah, people's lives are ruined constantly by
yeah,
people giving false accusations. And you you've definitely delved into a couple different, because there was also Casper, and this one had some problems with, he was falsely accused.
yeah,
And so the level of resentment that can build up, and how, I mean, it's beyond just like, oh, you ruined my life. It's like reliving the whole, like, yeah, and not only did you ruin my life, but this is what happened to me when you didn't just take away 15 years, you put me through 15 years of hell
yeah,
or whatever and stuff. And so the level of revenge that the characters use, and the just driving it in, going back to Crimson Greetings, it's just driving him insane by the end. And it's very good though. It's just so powerful, I think. I said though, I don't mean it like that. Like, it's really intense, but no, it was really, really a great build up to everything that's going on, because you just like, okay, so what's going to happen next? What's going to
yeah.
happen
That's like
after this?
with
And
Crimson Greetings. I was married at the time when I wrote it. So
okay.
when my wife had read it, she was like, "Who am I married to?" I'm still the same person.
Where did this come from?
Yeah,
It's gorgeous though. I love both of those. And the other ones, I did enjoy the fact that you can put the story in it, but I was a little like, wow, I was not expecting that level of stuff.
yeah,
But like I said, you're able to wrap it back into a good storyline that's coming through, where the characters, some of them are empowered because of what they go through.
yeah.
The violence that's inflicted upon them gets them to where they can like finally break out and do something. And hey, everybody out there, we have a couple people watching. Make sure you comment, because we'll be giving out some copies of Objection, and we need your names up there so that I know who to send it to. So pop in, say hi, ask Andre a question,
Hello.
let us know what's going on in your lives, and if you've read anything, what you think of it. I know we have more people up there than are commenting, because Jenny's not alone.
Yeah, I'm always open to feedback.
Now, what got you started in your writing? When
Oh,
did you get started?
I've been writing since I was in kindergarten. Like I had an aunt. I never met her. Like she had died before I was born, but she was a poet, and she never published anything on the broad scale. It was like self-published and local.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'd got it from that side of the family, and she was the only other writer in the family. And then my mom got me into horror movies when I was real little. And do you know the movie trying to think, Cannibal Holocaust?
I haven't watched it, but I know what it is.
There was that, and then one that was Zombie Holocaust, aka Dr. Butcher.
Okay.
And I went to the movie theater when I was real little. We went to the drive-in theater and watched it. Well, then they told me I ended up getting pneumonia, and it was on top of my asthma, and I
Oh.
started hallucinating. And I started seeing the guy from Zombie Holocaust coming after me.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and then like I got hospitalized with the fever and all that stuff. And then I guess after that was when I picked up writing. And then I have read that like when you get sick like that, like it can spark your creativity, and there you go.
Yeah. Not nearly as traumatizing as yours. I'd had a head injury when I was a child, and I was in the hospital, and they had me on so much codeine that I was hallucinating.
Okay.
But I saw things like Bugs Bunny throwing Yosemite Sam out the window of my hospital room because I was just a little one when it
Yeah.
happened. So it was like I'd seen some horror movies, but apparently I was more afraid of cartoons or something. Don't know. I was just like, where'd he go? What are you talking about? Bugs Bunny. He killed Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, that's like I remember being a kid, like watching the horror movies, and like it would get to the really graphic scenes, and I guess my mom had already figured she ruined me anyway. And it would be like, turn your head, and then I'm doing this number, like looking out the side of my eye. I'm sitting there watching every bit of it.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. But I guess all that stuff just stayed in my head, and like I was writing horror stories in grade school and getting sent to the office. Like
Oh
that's how
dear.
bad it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mom was big on showing me horror, but it was the old Universal movies. We had a local thing that was Theater of the Macabre, and
Yeah.
Lady Macabre would come on. She was like our local Elvira, and so we'd watch all the old Bela Lugosi and Lon Chaney and Boris Karloff and stuff. But so I didn't get to see the like super horror,
Yeah.
but had a little bit of the spooky stuff going on. But it never really phased me.
Yeah.
And yeah, the one that got me the worst was my dad left The Fly on for the first time, and The Fly really messed with me when I was little. But oh, Jenny, I oddly know how you feel, asthma and pneumonia.
Yep.
Um, and the other thing I read, were you a big reader as a kid as well?
Me, no.
Oh,
Just on
I
occasion.
I did nothing but read when I was. I still do just about nothing but read. I try to write, and then I end up reading. But I read like The Exorcist when I was 8, and I had to use my dictionary to figure out what some of the things were happening in there. And that was one that was just like, whoa, okay. And so I'd get more of my nightmares from the books that I read. Like, we had the smallest public library in the United States in the
Oh
town that
yeah.
I grew up in. Yeah. I found that out a couple of years ago when I was reading an article. I was like, well, that explains a lot. It was pretty small, but the only like graphic novel type thing we had was Creepshow
Yeah.
and Creepshow 2. And I read those as a kid. And then I watched the movies, of course. And those always stuck with me as being like terrifying. And so that's where my nightmares progressed from. Hey, Tom Dog, how's it going? We're having a fun on Sunday. Thanks for commenting. Do you have any questions for Andre? Let us know. It's Tom over at Brill Pro, guys. Make sure you check in, follow him on Facebook, and get a chance to catch up on his shows. He has some great, fun comparisons. He does some wrestling shows. He has some great times just hanging out with everybody, and he is part of the family around here. So go check him out. Subscribe and follow and all that lovely stuff. I am going to take a minute while we're doing this real quick because I just remembered it. We recently started working with Chewy as affiliates. And so we're going to have a quick Chewy moment of like, oh, it's time to see pet things. And then we're going to go back into murder. So one of the things, this is my mom's dog Peanut, and she is enjoying one of her bones from Chewy. And that toy has lasted forever. I don't think that she can destroy it, and she's the dog that destroys things that Rottweilers and Pit Bulls cannot destroy. And so go look up for something like that on Chewy if you have dogs that destroy things. And they are so customer service oriented. The reason that we love this company so much, they do things out of the blue for people. Like this showed up once on my door. I had not ordered it, and those are my cats Hinata and Yeti. And they just randomly, after I'd loaded my pictures up of my pets on their site, send out, they're like about this big a piece, little oil paintings that were hand signed by the artists that did them. And they're just a great little company. So if you're ordering pet products, go through Chewy. because they really care about you and they have great customer service if anything goes wrong, and things are delivered right off the bat. So, do you have any pets?
Me, no. I used to, not anymore. Mine were pit bulls. I always loved pit bulls.
I have a nephew and a sister that are pit bulls. Now
Yeah.
is what I, yeah, they're
Very
great
loyal.
dogs. What?
They're very loyal.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. They were both rescues, and my sister was. I'm going off on stuff, but she was a bait dog, so she's been very scared. But they've rehabilitated her really well. She's a much more confident dog. So
Yeah.
I'm yeah. She has to wear the little like shock blankets and jackets sometimes still, but she's a good little dog. She lets her brother. She gets to fight with him, and he always lets her win.
Yeah.
So yeah, builds up her confidence. But so back to murder.
Yeah. So in Chapters of Catastrophe, what did you
Yes,
think of misinterpreting Carolyn Rottencrotch?
I was like really surprised at
Yeah.
how much I enjoyed the story based on looking at it from a title. I was like,
Yeah.
well, that's interesting. But then going through, and I thought her character development was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really really enjoyed that one. I wasn't sure. I was like I said, I was a little skeptical when I first read the title, but as I was going through and reading, I was just like, oh wow, okay, and like moving everything together, and just the way that she was manipulated, and then this character is just destroyed throughout, and is able to finally pull her shit together and use everything that was done to her to get strong from it and to uh, avenge herself on it. And then great ending line, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, her little sign off, that was it ended on a very humorous note for me. So
Yeah. People
I
that
like
read
that.
that compared it to "I Spit on Your Grave." Like they were seeing like comparisons to that.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
And it was Liquidating Laura
Yeah.
was one that was just like, wow.
Yeah. With that
Okay.
one, I was like, how far can I go? Like, with the
I
microwavable bowls. It's like, well, let's just do it.
Yeah. Okay, well, this
Yeah.
person did nothing, but we are going to see them taken through the worst level of hell for revenge,
Yeah.
because and the way that that was all programmed out, what she was subjected to see and
Yeah.
everything. You have a really good, you're very good at describing things, the locations and the people and everything that's going on, and their mentality as they're going through things,
Yeah.
is very very vivid. So I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah. And that
um
one didn't have a happy ending.
well, yeah, no, I wouldn't say a lot of them have a really happy ending,
True.
but they but Carolyn Rottencrotch, she did have a humorous ending, I
Yeah.
thought. And I guess and that would be considered happy as well, I think.
Yeah.
um Not everybody gets a happy ending in your story, though. Not
No, they
in your
don't.
stories. Not very many people get happy.
I have no mercy.
You do not. There is no. That's why I was worried about the little girl. She's like, oh, please let her be okay. Okay, this is a different style of book. All
Yeah.
right.
That's like, a lot of people like to save their main character.
Mhm.
With me, that's not the case.
No, you like to make your main characters go through hell,
Yeah.
and but you do it really well.
Yeah. And I
That's
think
it.
it helps with their character development.
Yeah, I love how the flashback scenes and stuff that you add into everything, so that if we're kind of wondering like, well, why would this person agree to do this, or why would this person act in this way, you throw us in the flashback so that we can understand, oh, okay, this is exactly what was going on. Okay, now I understand how this person, because a couple of them, it's kind of like, well, that's kind of far reaching. Why would she be willing to even let herself go there? But it's like, oh, okay, this is why. And because in the trust and relationships that people might think they have and what each person looks at another, we get to see all of that with your characters.
Yeah.
I really like that you open up the whole world instead of just the main character's perspective or just a couple of them. You let everybody see, the motivations behind everything that's going on.
Yeah, I try to show like the background to all of my characters, although the characters themselves don't know it about each other. That way, when you're reading it, like what is motivating each character. You had to bring it all together.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, they don't know this, but okay.
Yeah.
They're gonna suffer for that one.
I have a lot of
fun. They don't know
fun
why.
too. It's a lot of fun.
I always feel bad when I'm killing off my characters or doing things to them because they yell at me. They're like, stop. No, I don't want to. The other one's like, I'm going to do this to you.
Yeah.
I have all the fighting going on in my head, but you just plan it.
Yep.
So once you get done with the drama, are you liking writing even in a softer style with that?
Yeah, I'm liking it. And it's more calming for me. Like if I do extreme horror, then I'm like constantly trying to see how far I can go with my imagination. But with this, like it's all like everything's just calm, and I don't know. It's hard to explain really, but it's like it's equivalent to like writing what you see in real life and just writing it down pretty much.
Okay.
Like there's nothing too extreme. Like you don't have to put so much imagination into it. You write what you see every day.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot more realism to it.
I'm looking forward to reading it. You also didn't her OnlyFans just came up in print now?
Yeah, it's it came out I believe it was late January, but then I had just released the ebook like a week ago.
Okay, that's what it was. It came out in print and it just got up on Kindle. So if you're a Kindle reader, hop up and grab her OnlyFans. That's brand new. You got all of your what?
That one gets a little nasty. Yeah.
Okay. More gore involved in that one as well.
It's got like 2 deaths in it, but one of them is pretty graphic. But it's like there's a lot of sex. It's a lot of that in it.
Okay.
But it's the same thing of like it shows each character and what they're going through and how it all ties them together. And like there's really no good character in the book. Like they're all bad.
I like that though, because there are a lot of shitty people out in the world, and literature often people who write try to make somebody just be like the perfect character.
Yeah.
Like oh no, this person has they're a very nice person. They might get treated like shit, but they don't let it get to them. And it's like, dude, I'd be going crazy with all the things that are going on. And I think I'm a nice person, but I have all this mental reaction, at least, to stuff. I don't go out and act upon it. I have what in my head, I call it my pillow punching room. Go through at night and sit there and, some people punch a pillow. I imagine this little scenario in my room where I could just take out all my frustrations on like dummies or something. And I have Glenn Danzig cheering me on the side. It's like, vent that frustration, get it out of you. And you write characters that are real. Not everybody's going to be a nice person. And in a whole group of people, there might not be a single nice person or decent human being around. I like that you don't try to force somebody into being the super sweet character, even.
Yeah, and I think doing that is like too cardboard. Like people read that character and There's nothing real about the character. Because people in real life, there is no perfect person.
Yeah.
That's what I like to put in my writing. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. And well, except the maid was pretty perfect. I like her. But she was kind, but she also had her own suspicions and like going on. And yes, Jane, that is all real. So one of my stories has a little bit of what I do in my head in it, and it's yeah, it has the pillow punching room involved with play acting. Well, you write what you know, so I just write what happens in my head a lot. So yeah, I think we got about 10 minutes left before I need to let you go. I'm just going to do a straight up giveaway for everybody who's in tonight. So we got at least one more person. Give me a comment and I will make sure that I get you a copy of the book after this. But is there anything that you would like to bring up, talk about, do some promotion for? I mean, obviously this book, but where do you like people to try to contact you through and stuff like that? I have your Amazon links up so people can go straight there to check out all of your books. But
they can check me out there or like go onto my Facebook and follow. Because that's pretty much my book promoting and my personal both at the same time.
Okay. Do you like to receive IMs from people or not so much?
Yeah, I mean, they can message me. Hardly anybody talks to me anyway, so yeah, I'm down for it.
Oh, okay. Oh, and that's Josh. All right. Well, you only get one. You have to share it with Josh. So no. Sorry, I'm talking to Jenny real quick off the side there. It's like, I'm Josh. Hi, Josh. Not Josh. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just say thank you to everybody who came in tonight. And everybody go out when you're watching this on YouTube and check out his books. If you're in for the harder core stuff, go from the beginning and the middle and check out the chapters of Catastrophe, or you can get them separate with, there's Hen House and
Liquidating Laura.
Are each of them on their own?
Yeah, they're all
separate.
Yeah, 99 cents. Yeah.
Okay, so you can buy each one separately, or you can get them all put together. And we're going to be checking out Taken because that just looks awesome. I didn't get a chance to read that one yet, but Objection's up, and now you can also get on Kindle Her Only Fan. So get out there and get yourselves your hands on Andre Sanders. I'm having a speech problem day, so that's part of what's going on here.
Well, I thought I was going to be very nervous for this, but it's not bad.
It's not bad?
No, I thought about this all day long. I'm going to be on camera. I've never done this, but it's not bad.
No, we just hang out.
Yeah.
You get me, you get a drunk squirrel. I don't know. Every now and then Cthulhu pops up if he feels like it, but not tonight. He's hanging out, hiding. He's dreaming, down in Arlia. He didn't feel like paying a visit. But it was great to have you on, and I'm super excited to read The Taken, and I'm going to get Her Only Fan as well, so I can see what that's all about. Thank you for joining us, and everybody, get out there, look at the links up above or below, depending on where you're at, and get yourself some reading on. And Tom and Jenny, I will have some stuff going out. Oh, and Jenny says, I have no idea what that means. Kindle Unlimited. Yeah. Okay. Cthulhu was playing with trains. All right.
Oh, gosh.
Have a good night, everybody, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.